Jerry's next. He calls himself IHOP.
My name's Jerry Montgomery. I'm gonna tell you a story about myself. Two devils and a higher power. I first moved here when I was 12 years old, Putnam County, or I was 11 actually, I'm originally from East Tennessee, Clinton. I actually had a great childhood. My mom was a single mom. She took care of me. She's my best friend. So all my drug use wasn't due to having a bad childhood at all. It was just, I was curious. I was a loner for a long time. Didn't make a lot of friends. So I started experimenting with drugs. I first tried pot. Didn't like it, scared the crap out of me. I've always battled with mental issues. Even when I wasn't on drugs, I see demons. I always have voices in my head. So I turned to drugs to kind of calm all that down, because I found out that whenever I done the drugs, they went away. I kept going to doctors, and they never did give me anything that really helped me. So I stayed with the street drugs and kind of said the heck with doctors. When I was 15, I started having real bad problems with my mental issues. I started a huge fight with my mom, so I moved back to my dad's house. I actually had every intention of committing murder when I moved back there. I was going to kill my dad because I felt like he needed to die for a lot of stuff that did happen early on within my family. And I got down there. I was there about 3 months. He was a bad alcoholic. We both got drunk one night. He decided he wanted to start beating the crap out of me, and I almost killed him. I ended up in a mental institution at a Peninsula Hospital in Knoxville, Tennessee, because when the law came and picked me up, I looked at the cop and I told him, I said, I need you to do me a favor. He said, what was that? And I said, I need you to take your gun out of your holster and take it out of this room. And he said, why? I said, because I'm fixing to kill you and then myself. I ended up spending the next 6 months in a mental institution, mostly because I wouldn't comply. I've always been my own person. There wasn't nobody gonna tell me what to do. They wanted me to do things a certain way, and I said, no, I ain't going. It should have only been about 90 days, but turned into 6 months. But then I came back to Cookeville and moved back with my mom after that. I was actually part of a drug program then called the Endeavor Program. It's through Plateau. I graduated it. You would think that would have been it then, and I'd been all right, but I wasn't. I held a lot of stuff in. I did what I had to do to pass it, to graduate. Told them whatever they needed to hear. I graduated, so obviously I done a good job. Then I started running around a bunch of gangs when I was around 16, 17 years old. The glory life that everybody tells you about, it ain't there. I didn't have no friends. Then when I turned 17, I met a girl that, when we fell in love. Then when she turned 18, we got married. We would eventually, by the time I was 19, she would be pregnant with my oldest son. He's now 20 years old. And I was a real piece of crap, I ain't gonna lie. By that time, I had been using cocaine and I was selling crack. But, I mean, she's probably watching this day. She didn't know this, but she does now, so. We had a lot of domestic issues. Yeah, everybody has arguments. But I was to blame for it. It was my drug use. I felt like she was the devil, and she would try to tell me to do certain things, and I wasn't going with that. But I was stressed out bad. All of a sudden, there I am, 19 years old, I got a kid on the way. I still live with my mom, both of us do. So I had work. I got 2 jobs. I worked at Wendy's on Willow, and I get off work there and walk to Lunch on Silver's on Jefferson for my second job. That was stressful, so I started using more and more cocaine. But it just wasn't cutting it for me. So all the arguments we got into would lead to a divorce, and it would lead to so many arguments between us that I wouldn't get to see my son, and I couldn't handle that. So shortly after that divorce, I always knew what meth was and had done it a couple times, but I smoked it. But I figured out that shooting it was what I wanted to do then. That was when I started shooting dope, and then I figured out how to cook meth. And that wasn't a very smart thing to do either. I also figured out that whenever you're growing up in church, you always hear about the devil. But you never hear about the person that I was, which was the devil in the flesh. I didn't care about you. I didn't care who you were. I didn't care what you had. I didn't care if your family ate. As they say, a pot to be in, I didn't care. I just wanted your money. Anything that could drive me to get your money, I'd play off of that. You know, if you was having problems with your boyfriend, I say, here, get out. You know, I give it to you for the first few times, and then you'd be like, well, I need this. I'm like, well, you're going to have to pay for it this time, you know.
Yeah.
Then I got you hooked. A lot of times, families that's never been around drugs, they don't know to warn you about that. You know, but I'm here to tell you that there's people like me that I used to be. Stay away from them.
Right.
Because they don't love you at all. The drugs don't love you.
Right.
And they're not forgiving at all.
Right.
I'll move on up forward a little bit. After that, I went real hard for a couple of years, then got back in touch with my junior high sweetheart. We sat around one night. I was coming down off heroin really bad. She said, I want you to make me a promise that if we're not married by the time we're 33, I want you to marry me. And I was like, yeah, whatever, you know. But that night, they didn't know it in the house, but I was on the verge of overdose that night. And she was always big in the church. I wasn't really. And she begged and pleaded with me to get clean. And so I did. I was clean for 9 years.
Wow.
I was raising 4 kids that didn't belong to me, but they're still my children. So when I tell you I have children, I've got 7 kids.
Right.
I worked a good job, a local tree service here. I worked my butt off. We were together for 10 years altogether, but we had our issues. There was domestic issues then too, but at this point it wasn't the drugs, it was my mental issues that I wasn't able to control. I'm not going to blame it on the mental issues. I still made the decisions to do what I did. And I have asked him since then to forgive me for that. Whenever we split up, I relapsed. I went back really hard to meth. Found the first heroin dealer I could. He had fentanyl. I said, ooh, I gotta have that too. I stayed strung out for about 8 days straight. It landed me in a car accident. I then wound up on life support for the next 7.5 weeks. And all because I wouldn't listen to my mom and stay home and get some sleep. So now I have a prosthetic leg because of it. I've got metal all through my body. It's holding me together. But now, you know, that I go back and think about all that, was it worth it? No, it wasn't. When that happened and I come out of that wreck, it changed me. The guy I used to be then, he's dead.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
The guy I was before that accident is gone. It changed me really bad. I realized I was taking life for granted. And even though I knew then that the Lord's what brought me through it, it wasn't enough to bring me to the Lord. So I sat around, I was told I would never walk again. Sat in a wheelchair at home on Facebook, bored, no friends to talk to, nothing else to do, so let's get high again. That wreck wasn't enough at all. Well, then shortly after that, this was January 8th, 2013. And then, short few months after I come home, the mother of my two youngest children, I was called and told that she was on life support. And I was also told, at the time, my youngest son did not know I was out of the hospital yet. He said, I'm fixing to lose my mommy and my daddy. He thought I was still in the hospital. So I went to the hospital and I prayed for God to please just, take me and keep her here because they needed her. And but unfortunately, she didn't make it. And that sent me into another spiral. Because honestly, she was the best thing that ever happened to me. The reason we never were together, I pushed her away. I found out that no matter what situation I was in, she would come get me. And I knew I was going to ruin her life. She didn't need me in her life. She always had my back no matter what. She was a good girl, made good grades. And I was not what she needed. So I kept her pushed away. I started arguing any way I could just so she would hate me. And whenever she died, I hated myself more because I felt like I ruined her life, even though I got her out of my life with the drugs. Then shortly after, we found out my mom had cancer. And I couldn't handle that. 6 months later, I lost my mom. So then I turned to every drug I've ever known or ever tried. And I wanted to commit suicide through drugs because I didn't have the guts to do it myself. And ever since 2014 up until 2019, I overdosed quite a few times. There's actually some people in this room that are very close to me that seen my last overdose. And, I never thought that I would ever see the day that the people that I loved at that time that seen me overdose, I would actually be in recovery with them. But I thank the Lord for that.
Yeah.
I love those people very much. They're my family. March 21st, 2019, I had every cop agency you think of in my yard. They kicked my door in. I was just coming down from a big bench, and I didn't know what was going on. I thought my house blew up, but it was grenades being thrown at the side of my house, flashbangs. It was crazy. And I had a split second to think that, all the time I've been trying to kill myself with drugs. I thought, well, if I couldn't do it by drugs, I would always do it by law enforcement. I had a gun on me. Up until about 5 minutes before they got there, I carried a gun everywhere, even though I was a convicted felon. When that happened, I looked up at my security cameras and I seen the police. And the only answer I have is it was God telling me to put that gun in the drawer.
Amen.
Because literally as soon as I shut that drawer, I had 10 AKs pointed at my head. They would kill me. But I decided that day to quit. I decided it was too much, I didn't say this already, but I'd already been through robberies, seen my friend's head blown off the side of me, all because of drugs. I decided I had enough. They come in, they searched my house. They didn't find nothing because I already sold everything I had. But they told me they'd be back with indictments. And I said, yeah, whatever, that's cool. They got a few handguns off of me and a lot of ammunition, which I knew would be federal charges. Well, December 5th, 2019, they came back and they had indictments on me. I was indicted for two sales of manufacturing, selling, delivering methamphetamine. But when they came in on me, they got the guns. They got $900 in fake hundreds. So I was sitting there stressing when they come and indicted me. I thought, well, federal charges are coming next. So I prayed real hard that night. At the time I didn't have my legs, so I was down on 1.5 knee in the cell. I was praying and I said, God, just help me, please. I said, I know I've been here before. I've always told you I will do what you want me to do. I said, but if you'll just show me what you want, what your will is, I'll do it. I spent the next 7 months in jail. Every single day I prayed. I read my Bible. I got up 3 o'clock every morning, no matter what. I done Bible studies. And every time I ate, I prayed. I told the Lord, if this is where He wants me to be, it's where I'll be. I accept it. It's my own fault. I said, but if not, show me. At this time, I was also fighting a violation of Jackson County. I went to court with every intention to tell them, lay down. I'm going to fight my time. Before I even got that out, the judge said, you're going home. My prayers were being answered, you know. I was shocked. I didn't know what to do. I was like, am I really going home? You know, I was standing on crutches, started hopping up and down on my crutches. And she said, yeah, you're going home. She said, I don't know how you've done it, but she said, you've never failed a drug test or anything, even though you've been indicted for drugs. And I said, I was smarter than you. That wasn't a smart thing to say. She about locked me back up over that. But after that, I came home. I told God, I'm going to do everything you want me to do. I made you a promise. I said, you didn't fail me. So I stayed in my Bible. Then within a few months, my brother, he's actually my best friend, but he's my brother. He is my family, even though he's not blood. He had been in some trouble when he came home from Teen Challenge. And I seen a change in him that I never thought I'd see, really, because we both used drugs side by side like it wasn't nothing. And I seen how happy he was. I could see the love for the Lord in his eyes. I wanted to feel that. And so I asked him if I could go to class with him. He goes to Teen Challenge classes. I went. I said, can I go to church with you? He took me. And the Holy Ghost spoke on me that day. And he brought me down hard. And he told me, look, you need to wake up. And I hit my knees and I broke down in church then. And I got saved that day.
Thank you, Lord.
That was when I got saved, I don't know why, I thought, well, you know, I've done this before. You know, it wasn't no big deal. You know, I didn't think it was a big deal to myself at the time because I'd been saved as a kid. I was doing what everybody else did. But the more I thought about it that night, I realized how much it meant to me.
Yeah.
And I started hearing scriptures in my head and would turn to the Bible and I would just sit there in amazement. Because those scriptures would be what I was dealing with.
Amen.
And then about a month ago, I got baptized. And that was the first time. For the first time, I realized what it meant to be baptized. You know, I always believed in heaven and hell, but I always just thought they were two different places. You know, that I didn't see the significance. Now I do, and God showed me what being washed by His blood really means.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you, Jesus.
I'm not perfect. I never will be. I'm still working on everything. Life's still a struggle. But anybody that's listening, I hope that you don't have to go through the stuff I've been through to change your life before you decide to get clean. People's dying every day. I've lost, since I got out of jail in May of last year, I've lost 30 people I know.
Wow.
And every one of them was to drug use. 4 to murder, 3 to suicide. And the class that I was in 1996, there's not many of us left. And when I think about that, it breaks my heart. So if you know somebody that's struggling, reach out to them, hug them, tell them you love them.
Right.
Don't, because that's when I needed it for the longest, and I never did get it, or I probably would have got clean a long time ago. But that's my story. Thanks for listening.